Are your students struggling to find their way? Do they need help developing a moral compass?
Hell no. Stop.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Yep, it's Let's Talk with Drop and Jabbo. We here in full effect in the pride. And we got the homies, the fellas, the road dogs, all of them. We got, we missing one. But we got most of them. The youth moral compass is here. We're going to tell y'all what we got going on. So y'all going to hear about us. Y'all going to hear about what we do. And you're going to hear about everything. But don't you dare turn that. Let's go.
Yeah. They said I should give it up like that just ain't good enough. I wasn't tough enough to make it through the storm. So I tried to feed my fire, doing what I desired. I'll never give it up, I'm nothing like before.
Yo. Welcome to Let's Talk with Drop and Jabbo. Hey, today we got a special episode for you guys. Look here. This is the day that the Youth Moral Compass organization comes together and lets you guys know how we can help your kids out there, your students out there, all of your the coaches out there. We're gonna be able to help everybody because we got a little bit of everything in every arena of life. This is what we do. This is going to show you the real youth moral compass, the real thing that really started Let's Talk with Drop and Jabbo. We're going to the roots of this thing. We're going to help you learn a little bit about how to deal with kids like we do all the time. So with that, we're going to start out with an introduction. But let me do something a little bit special first because this is an inauguration kind of a sorts because I got all of my best friends around me that have come together to create an organization. This organization is a nonprofit organization, and this nonprofit organization helps schools, it helps teachers, and it helps kids in the classroom. And our whole mentality is one classroom at a time. You know, we can't help a district. We can't help a whole school, but what we can do is what we can do. And what we do is we help one classroom at a time. And we also our mentality is this. A lot of kids that get in trouble get attention. A lot of kids that are geniuses and get good grades all the time, they get attention. What about them kids in the middle? That's where we come in at. We specialize in finding out, pointing out, and targeting the kids that get left out in the middle. They don't do super good. They don't do super bad. They do just enough to be good. To do what they got to do to survive, to get through school. Those kids usually don't get a lot of attention. That's where we come in at as much as we can, and we want to set a standard. That's the whole thing about a compass. A compass not only gives you direction, a compass it really kind of sets a standard when you're building a building or you're on a journey. I'm sorry, when you're on a journey, because there's two type of compasses. One of them is a traveling compass, and one of them is a compass that's going to help you regulate your angles, right? And so we using both of these. And we're using it in a metaphorical way. We're going to teach kids how to travel through life, and also we're going to have a behavioral compass that helps you to square your actions and your motions in life. With that being said, welcome to the Pride. That's right, because we're about having pride in ourselves, having pride in our community, and having pride in our families. And today, that's what this is all about. It's about youth, family, community. You're going to get a little bit of all of that. And the pride is where you can come in and get welcomed. You can be who you are, how you are, and do and say what you feel in your heart. That's what the Pride is all about. So welcome to the Pride. This again is Let's Talk with Drop and Jabbo. I got special guests, Youth Moral Compass, and we're going to start out with the homies, and we're going to start out with all of these people are officers in our organization. They're going to tell you a little bit about themselves, and also they're going to tell you what their superpower is. Okay, that's a good question, because everybody has a different perspective on what superpower is. Like, don't diss somebody because they don't say, I want X-ray vision. You know what I'm saying? Their superpower might just be able to have the compassion in their heart to think about other people before they think about themselves sometimes. So listen up. Hey, stay tuned. Right now, we're about to do our introduction, and we're gonna start from my right and go all the way around. Hey, everybody, take a deep breath. Hey, and relax, because the energy in this room is a little tight, fellas. Hey, this is not how we do it in the den, in the Pride. Hey man, we laughing and we smiling and relaxing, and we want to hear and get the pure essence of what's in your spirit. Let's go, Cedric. Introduce yourself and tell us what your superpower is.
Hello, my name is Cedric Currin-Moore. I'm the president of Youth Moral Compass. I'm also the STEM coordinator for the Urban League. And I would say my superpower is being able to communicate with kids. I've been able to teach for the past 13 years. Been a coach. I've also been in after-school programming. And I've always been able to communicate with kids on all levels. And I feel like, that's my superpower. I'm happy for it.
That's right, man. Cedric Moore is the school administrator of us. You know what I'm saying? He's that's been his business, school administration. So whatever level, you know what I'm saying, from the bottom level to the top level, from creating programs to teaching teachers how to teach, you know what I'm saying, to putting kids in, exposing them to different activities in the education system. With that being said, our next guest, special guest, Michael Bennett. Hey man, take a deep breath. Mike Bennett, let us know who you is.
You're stealing all the thunder. I don't know how to speak after all these elaborate introductions. But again, my name is Michael Bennett, and a part of the Youth Moral Compass. I'm excited to be a part. That's what I do. My superpower is to encourage, to help, to find a way to push a kid, to motivate a kid, to encourage a kid, even in the simplest forms. They may not have all the tools, but I try to assess and evaluate and find what helps a kid get to where they want to go. When they have bad moments, as we all have, I just try to encourage them and look at it, or take a different perspective, is like what you said. Look at it this way, maybe not this way. I had opportunity to work with Ced as a coach in some capacity, so learning from him, learning from what others have done. We have a guy here who has taken, I say, the softball world by storm. And while he may not know it, I was secretly following him on the internet. But taking keys and things from what he's done, that's what I do. I like to volunteer, to help, to encourage, to push a kid to get where he wants to go. That's what I bring to the Youth Moral Compass, a little direction.
Awesome. Let me tell y'all about Michael Bennett. To me, the thing about Michael Bennett is he has the ability to take the worst situations and give us a perspective that's comedic, right? So if something is like, off the cuff, it's not really PC, Michael Bennett can bring the comedy out of that. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, our next special guest, we call him Buddy, but I'll let him introduce himself. Let's go.
My name is Cornelius Davis. They call me Buddy. If you ask me my superpower, I mean, I'd say I'm that person that, is in the movie that really don't have a superpower, but he does his job. That's what I do. I deal a lot with youth, young ladies. They, me being a athlete, we come out of a high school with full ride scholarships. You have basketball players get full ride scholarships. I try to focus on the young ladies that, get partial scholarships and get them the most they can, get out of their environment. So softball, is my specialty with these young ladies, and I'm just glad I'm able to help.
All right, so that's a little bit of humility. We appreciate that from the brother. It's good to show some humility, and he's being very humble right now. This is Cornelius Davis, who runs softball tournaments. That's the biggest that I know of. Okay, so this brother is able to bring together and organize with hundreds of different organizations, right? That's a superpower to bring it all together here in Oklahoma with the young ladies. The young ladies get kicked to the side every now and then. But this man, he didn't have no choice. Let me just be honest with you. He got nothing but ladies at his house. There's about 5 ladies at his house, and they said, "Look here, Dad, we want to do A, B, C, D." And what he do, he stepped up to the plate. He ain't know nothing about he know nothing about no softball. But what he did was he cared enough to learn and to make it happen. And I mean, he went from knowing nothing about softball to running one of the biggest tournaments in Oklahoma, period. Probably the country, yeah, probably the country. You know what I'm saying? So passion, he had it in him. We all worked with kids mostly, but he didn't work with kids until his daughters made him work with kids. But it was already in him, and they just brought it out of him, and he just expounded upon that because that's the type of person he is. You know what I'm saying? Next up, right behind me, Room Dog. Let's go.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? My name is Lamont Swindall. I am the treasurer of the Youth Morris Campus. I work for a company called Cofront. I don't do a lot with kids with my job, but I have worked with kids before on basically football. I actually work with Ed Marshall on a little youth team, so I helped him out on that a couple of times, and also just with life only. I have my own kids. They've been successful with life, and also they finished college and moved on with their life. They're doing pretty good. So that's my superpower for Moore Campus, and that would be about it.
All right, great. That is great. I'm going to help you out a little bit, though, Room Dog, because that's what Room Dogs do. Lamont Swindall, his superpower to me is Lamont Swindall is a great motivator. He don't motivate you with a special speech. He don't motivate you with being all hard and rough on you. It's the energy. Yeah. Yo, Swindall is the energy man. He got the energy. He got the woo! That's what we talking about. So when you're a young man, a young lady, and you meet up with Lamont Swindall, then guess what? You're going to feel that energy. He going to give it to you. And you ain't going to be able to do nothing but accept it and move forward and get greater and get better. Now, here we go. C Easy right here. We just got a new one. We call him this brother right here. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. But this man right here, this is our government official. All right.
Man on
Yes, sir.
We used to call him Black and Mild. He don't do that no more. Now he just, and we called him the Undertaker.
Yes.
Huh? He'll kill you and then bury you.
No.
Oh, God.
Hey, we get loose.
Let you down.
We get loose, y'all. But seriously, before I let him go, seriously, when it comes down to leadership,
Yeah.
when it comes down to organizing and being a part of the community, I think this guy right here kind of led us into the direction that we're in right now.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? He was kind of the first one to step up and protest and do all of that type of thing. But like I said, let me stop. I'm going to give him the opportunity to introduce himself. Let's go.
Long night train.
Hey, well, hello. First of all, to Ed and to Jab and to just the show in general, Drop and Jabbo, you guys have done a phenomenal job developing something that is meaningful to us, as we're all friends. We like to call ourselves the homies. Very meaningful. So number one, thank y'all for having us over.
Right.
And giving us an opportunity to partake in what you want to do. I am Christopher Harrison. I tell everybody, just call me Chris. Small business owner, my wife and I, and we have moved into some other areas. I've spent some time serving on several nonprofit boards here in Oklahoma City, 15 years on the school board of Millwood Public Schools. But I guess if you say, what is my superpower? It would be connections and communication. I'm a strong believer in if you can bring resources to your community, to your family, to your friends, it can only make their lives better. So my job is just a board member for the Youth Moral Compass. Whatever the officers decide to do, we're fully supported 100%. But I think this organization is a testament to how we were raised, the things we did in high school, junior high. Remarkably enough, this May will mark 30 years in which we graduated from high school.
Wow.
And we're all still here. We're all still friends. We're all still brothers. Honestly.
Yes.
And so this is an opportunity. I'm looking forward to the conversation tonight. But I appreciate it again. And kudos to Jab and to Drop.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. There's no following up what just happened right there. I hope you heard it. I hope you listened. If not, rewind it and listen again to all of the introductions of these great young men that are out here working in the community. So we also have a brother who is, his name is Eugene Sweet, the third. That's right. Y'all can join in anytime y'all want to, just to let y'all know, man.
Yeah, that's that dude.
It's over. But
That's
Eugene Sweet, man, this guy, he is
Military.
our friend. He's a brother, and he found his way in the military. So he has made young men into great soldiers out here, and he's doing big things as a sergeant major, command sergeant major. That's right.
Right.
There's we couldn't put on enough stripes all together to get to them stripes. You know what I'm saying? If we was all privates, we still wouldn't have enough stripes. So that in itself is a testament to the moral compass of Eugene Sweet, who's not here. He is doing his thing with the military, and he sends his regards. And the only reason he's not here today, guess what? Is because he's doing something with his son. You know what I'm saying? It's a family thing. So while we out in the community, we also are bombarded with dealing with our family first. And another person who's not on the camera, he's about to set up and come on the camera now, but we're going to introduce my co-host of Let's Talk with Drop and Jabbo.
Tell him about it.
It is Edward Marshall. Let's go.
Hey, y'all know who I am. Yeah, motivation speaker. Realness. I almost said the N-word. Y'all know me. Y'all know I'm quick with it. I'm that real N-word. You know what I'm saying? Tell it like it is. If you hurt your feelings, you hurt your feelings. And then I'll pray with you. You know me. But listen here. I go to these schools, and these schools, they say there's two problems. They say there's not enough money for them to work with the kids. And then the second problem is there's not enough people for them to work with the kids. And so that's why we chose this type of thing. Buddy kind of told y'all what it was. We don't really focus on the big time kids. Because that's what happened to us. Some of us, got looked over because coaches focused on the big time players. Some teachers made sure they made us be a part of everything. See, now our coaches was real. They was real to the bone. They told us, but we had a few coaches that would say, it's a certain style. We don't want kids to have to go through that. We want every kid, no matter if you got a C, B, or A, you have a chance to at least try to go to college and do something. Got to get that chance. So that's our focus. And yeah, we about to tell y'all some stuff. Y'all get ready.
All right. Good job. Hey, appreciate it. Great introduction again from everybody. And that last introduction was coming from my co-host. And let me tell you this. He wasn't humble because that's just who he is. So in order to be and to move and to attract big things, you have to have a big imagination. You have to be able to look past what the situation looks like and think not only of yourself but the people around you to be really bigger and have more ability than they think of themselves. And so that's the superpower of Edward Marshall. From small beginnings and from whatever people say disadvantage and all of that or counted out. You know what I'm saying? From being counted out, this brother right here never believes that he can't do something, or he never lets you believe that you can't do something. So I think that's what gets permeated into the youth when he talks to them and he goes to these gymnasiums and he speaks to these schools. It's being able to infuse those kids with believing in themselves that no matter what situation that they are in, they can overcome the obstacles and be successful. Man, that's what Let's Talk with Drop and Jabbo is about. That's what Motivational Drop is about. And that's what life is about. You know what? We go through life every day. We got our obstacles. We got our ups and our downs. But what we have to do, the struggle is taking that next step. And that next step is the hardest thing to do. And if you got somebody to motivate you, or if you got somebody to have confidence in you and push you on to the next level, hey man, that's what you need sometimes, is just a little support. And that's what Youth Moral Compass is all about. And I'm going to do this for the next section. For the next section, we're going to ask a few questions. And I'm going to start over here with our former school board member.
Yes.
Okay.
Return.
So, from a school board member perspective, all right, can you talk a little bit about how not having a moral compass, not having a moral direction, how can that affect students in school?
So from a board standpoint, and then as we discuss it from a policy standpoint, my thought goes to being genuine in your decision making on what's really going to affect the children. So if there's a policy, one of the things we worked with in Millwood was taking a true account of knowing that a lot of these kids don't have parental support. They're just not going to have it. It's not going to change anything. So what we started doing from a moral compass standpoint is starting to drill down one of our pillars that we use for success through our sessions of learning and building and strategic planning was to go in and strictly say, we are going to put inside of these children the understanding that they can achieve anything, but they have to be accountable, responsible for themselves. And one of the things we saw during COVID and how you shifted everything of how a kid could go to school, we saw some kids who did excel, who were able to be responsible enough to move forward. But we also saw some kids who didn't. So from a moral compass standpoint, I applaud the varsity football team for what they did last season by saying we will not go out and play these games because we have children who are ineligible.
Okay,
And
so
you
you're
had-
talking about the Millwood Falcons principals and staff, whatever, made a decision to not play certain players on
They didn't play the entire game.
Didn't play that game.
Two of them, I believe.
Okay,
it was.
go ahead. Go ahead. Fitz.
And so, what you have to stand on in those moments, especially that's why I applaud the superintendent, principal, head coaches, assistant coaches, and the teachers who rallied behind those kids. How they stood on their standards of saying, we know we have a group of kids that have done well, but there's some kids who haven't been able to achieve what we know they can. Okay, so we do this as a team, as a community, as an entire school, as an entire school district. So and it's real simple. It was not that, and I read this in the paper and it was very disturbing. It wasn't that the kids were not capable of passing. They were failing because they had been spending an entire year learning one way.
Right.
And so if you could do all of your English, do all of your math, do it separately, that's fine. But when we bring you back into the in-school setting, then you go back to the traditional way of school. And the kids were still doing English first and then do all of this math second. And so they might spend an entire week on one subject because that's what they had been doing. So, but from what you have to be clear on from a policy standpoint is if the rule says this is how it is, don't bend it.
Okay.
I've seen school districts, I've seen teachers, I've seen a lot of rules bent.
Right.
And so I applaud them for that.
Great, man. I appreciate that. I experienced personally my kids when they had to do the at-home school. So my daughter, who's older, I have my daughter and my son, right? Elementary school, both of them. In school, my daughter excelled in the classroom. But in the classroom, my son, who was a little bit younger, let's say my daughter was 10, we'll say my son was 7, okay? So in the classroom, son didn't do too well. Daughter excelled. When they got at home, and they had to do stuff at home online, son excelled, daughter didn't do too well. You know what I'm saying? So it was a kind of a funny dynamic how that worked. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, they got used to it and got better over time. So I can see how that, how that really affects the school. Now, you wanted to say something on that?
Yeah, just kind of piggybacking off something that Chris said. I'll say last year the optics of that looked really bad. If you just look at it from the optics standpoint.
So Michael Bennett is talking about what Chris Harrison mentioned when we're talking about moral compass is they set a moral compass at the Falcons football, Millwood, Oklahoma City. They decided not to play these gentlemen because of grades for this game, and these are very important, like it was a whole class or something like that. And so now, Michael Bennett, you want to say that there was some opposition against that?
Yeah, I think it looked bad in the beginning, and again, depending on how you heard about it and what you understood of it. But here's what I look at, and this is what I'm excited about because what he said, there was a balance there. Those same kids that didn't get to play, they bounced back. They got their grades together, and they made the most of a bad situation. And this year, that team that struggled made it all the way to state. You don't do that without getting something right and figuring something out. You're saying there were some issues, there were some things. And like I said, I was upset because I'm an alumni. That's my alma mater. And so because they were having problems, I was concerned. But to see that, like you said, there were people that took a stand, whether it be the administration, the coaches, even the students themselves that said, you know what, here's an opportunity to get it right. And now you look, and I was able to follow that team all the way to state. You know, and I look at that and I say that was recovery. And that's what the youth moral compass is about. We're about recovery. You know, maybe things didn't go right. Maybe you take an L. Because again, come on, we're about to watch the Super Bowl. The team that's getting to the Super Bowl, those teams, they took some L's somewhere down the line. It's not that they were undefeated, but something happened along the way, and they were able to bounce back. And that's what I like about what happened with our team, our school, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And then you see those kids that failed, and then they rallied around each other. That's what I like about it too. They rallied and gathered each other. That's what we've done. Yeah. I've taken a little bit from Chris. I've taken a little bit from Ed and Sid and everybody. Like I said, kind of peeking in everybody's window where I was struggling or didn't have it together, and I rallied, and that's what I contribute and say, hey, I know the odds are against you, or I know you had a tough moment. Yeah. But hey, here you go. You can still overcome. You can still achieve. Come on, Pastor. Oh, come on. But I want to tell you something real quick before we move on and get to the next phase. Yeah. Again, I saw this past season, not only where my son goes to school, but let me tell you what happened. Recently, there was a kid. He was a quarterback for where my son goes to school. Now, my opinion, he wasn't that great. Okay. He probably had more interceptions than he had touchdown passes. We keep it real up in here. Let's go. We keep it real. And he got pulled. He got pulled, and he was a senior and a captain. But a freshman came in and took his position. And then the local news took what he did, and he won the Player of the Year and got a scholarship for $5,000. They awarded on the other day. And I'm mesmerized because, again, I wouldn't have picked him by his performance. But they didn't look at his performance. They looked at his character. They looked at what he brought to the table. Okay. Did he have failures? Yes. Did he look bad? Absolutely. Yeah. But it wasn't enough that it stopped people investing in him. And that's what was encouraging about that situation. Right. Again, that's where I see us. That we're not looking for the top notch. Mm-hmm. Even though, like you said, there are people that are top notch. They get those grades. There are guys that, they're lower end, so they get the support. But this guy, he was an outcast. He could have easily been an outcast. Right. And I like his story because it matches up with us, with me, something that I can relate to, and I think that's what we focus on. Okay, he gives me now somebody to point to compass. He gives me somebody that I can point to and say, hey, look, here's this guy. Right. Here's what he did. He's the example of what we're talking about. We're doing.
What you guys have just said really is parallel to me. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all might have missed it out there. So let me bring it together for you guys, just in case you missed it, okay? And this is my perspective, right, of what you just seen, what you just witnessed, right? What you just witnessed was speaking about the youth moral compass and moral compasses, period. It's the long play. Morality is the long play, right? It's not morality. Probably is gonna muffle up and cause people maybe to disagree and go at each other, or not even feel like that's the best player or athletics, you know what I'm saying? But morality is not only the long play, it's deeper than the superficial. Like morality goes deeper than what he looked like on the field, right? So what you're saying with the Millwood staff, they played the long game and saying, okay, we're going to make this decision that's real hard right now for these kids, hoping that it's going to pay off in the future. You just said that hope manifested a whole year later, right? So if we're connecting the dots here, and you're listening or you're watching, then you can see that when we speak about the youth moral compass here in the school board or whatever, and we talk about who we are as a youth moral compass, we're playing the long game. And I wanted to get a outside of the boardroom perspective, and I wanted to point to my man on the real ground floor, Buddy Davis. How does morality look, or how does the lack of morality affect or lead to negative consequences when you're out there dealing with outside of the school, just in the community with organizations of which you deal with young ladies on the field, people coming from different states, different cities, and coming together. Have you seen how not having a moral compass, Mr. Davis? Have you seen the negative consequences of that? Can you explain that?
Uh, well, sorry. I mean, it's a little different. I think of it in a sense that again, I'll go back to my introduction. There's not a lot of light shown on young ladies. They don't get a lot of attention. WNBA, look at it. There's not a lot of people watching it. College women's basketball, not a lot of people watching it or interested. Or I say that, but there are people interested. It's just not just the highlight like men's basketball or men's sports. So again, I try to uplift these young ladies because there's not a whole bunch of pros after uh, women's sports. They can't go make a whole bunch of money. I try to build tough, smart, intelligent, confident young ladies to go out and thrive in the world. And it's tough. It's tough in this environment. It's tough. Through COVID. And the rules changing. With free transfers and it's like free agency within the softball world. I mean, it's tough. So again, my whole thing is to direct them, lead them, put them on the right path, keep them in the right direction on the field, off the field, just again developing confident young ladies to go out and thrive.
Well, Mr. Davis, I appreciate your kindness, but I'm asking you, do you see the negativity out there?
He sees the negativity that you would see with young ladies that you see in male-dominated sports like Pop Warner football, Little League basketball, the YMCA's, the AAUs, where parents, what they're thinking is, my son is going to go pro. And I'm not worried about him being a good character on the field, him having good sportsmanship. I'm worried about him being the top dog and everybody's focusing on him and that he's the next OBJ or he's the next Deion Sanders or whatever, LeBron James. And parents are pushing these kids to show that, and it's all eyes on me because I want to go D1. I want to go to the NFL. I want to go to the NBA. And if my kid or if my child's not getting that attention, or if I feel like someone, a coach, a referee, is not giving them their just due, then as a parent, I'm going to step out on the field and cuss them out or fight or do whatever. I don't think you get to see that with young ladies because it's not like that. I mean, I just don't think parents push them like that.
It's a little different in this world. You do have some parents that do, go and show their
Get passionate.
Get passionate.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what we call it.
Yeah.
So you see more parents being more negative than what players are. One of your female players.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that. It's not, again, men's sports versus women's sport is totally different, and you don't see as much as you do on the men's side of things.
Right. Okay. At this point, that was a great start, and at this point, don't worry, we're going to continue this, but we're going to take a little break, and we're going to see you next week, and we're going to continue this conversation. So don't worry. And right now, we want to thank you guys for watching the video with us, listening to this podcast of the Youth Moral Compass. we need you guys, if you like what we're talking about, we need you ladies and we need you guys because we like everybody. And we need you guys, ladies and gentlemen, to support us. And we want you guys to support us by downloading these episodes on our podcast. That's how you support podcasts, by downloading the podcast. Check us out on our social media page on Facebook. It's called Let's Talk with Drop and Jabbo. Hey, once again, thank you, gentlemen, for being here. And don't you forget, check us out next week because we're not done. We're coming back and we're going to continue this conversation. It's starting to get good, y'all. So you don't want to miss it. And again, I'm Jabbo with Drop and Jabbo. I almost forgot my name, huh? We got Drop because I'm looking at Drop. He's over there and he's doing the production and he's doing the wizard on the camera and all of that stuff. So the Youth More Compass likes to help promote, do positive outcomes, and we'll see you guys next week. All right, don't forget. That is it for this episode. Hey, we hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. If you did, please do us a favor and hit the like button and share with somebody else. And if you want notifications when our episodes or monthly live podcasts publish, then you gotta go to the website. Subscribe. Do that now so that nothing gets missed by accident. Thanks again and for supporting us.
I'm as tough as you made me, but you never break me down. No, you never break me. They said I should give it up like that just ain't good enough. I wasn't tough enough.